way to bleach a wig is to first get all of the hairs out of the way. What I like to do is actually take it and plait the hairs back so that I have no flyaways that could possibly get into the bleach, because what we're going to have to do is flip the cap inside out onto the mannequin head. Alright, so like I said, we're going to have to flip the cap inside out onto the mannequin head, because that spreads the frontal completely flat so that you can actually spread it evenly. There are no gaps, no humps, no lumps. Everything can spread evenly onto the lace. So the bleach that I like to use is Quick Glue. I like to use this bleach because it helps kind of tone down a little bit of the brassiness that can happen when you're bleaching. And I like to use 30 volume developer. Some people use 40, but I like to use 30 because I can actually watch it better. Because 40 makes it bleach very, very fast. And if you're not careful, you can also kind of loosen the knots a little bit too much, which is why you bleach before you pluck, because the knots become loose. So when you're mixing it, you want it to be thick, but not too thick that you can't spread it. Thick enough to spread, well, loose enough to spread, thick enough so that it doesn't bleed through the lace onto the hair. Then you got, because that will give you brassy roots, and you have to go and correct that, and it's just extra work. So just pay attention to how I'm mixing it. I am using a butter knife because it is easier to spread with a butter knife than an actual brush, because the brush can poke through the holes of the lace. So you're going to spread it kind of like you're spreading it on toast, like butter on toast. So I start at the back because the front does bleach way faster. So you start at the back and you're just going to spread it on, and I am going to make a big mess in this, by the way. But you're going to spread it on lightly, little bitty spots at a time so that you can pay attention to make sure that it's completely covering the lace. Like I said, I want to make sure that the back is completely covered in bleach so that it can start bleaching before the front, because the front will bleach faster because the knots up there are thinner, then it doesn't have to work as hard at the front. And I'm making a huge mess. Just ignore that, okay? I'm a messy person, but my work is good, okay? I may be messy during the process, but the finished product is perfect. I promise you. Alright, so now we're all done. I'm just going to take some foil and place it all over the head of my stand. Make sure that the heat can actually stay into the cap so that it can start working a little bit faster. I'm going to leave this on for about 30 to 45 minutes so that it can begin working. Now we're going to go in and we're going to rinse it out. I'm rinsing out with warm water, and I'm making sure that I'm getting all of the bleach off. Don't worry about it running onto the hair, because once water hits bleach, it actually stops working. And also once bleach dries, it stops working as well. So I'm rinsing it off, and I'm also going to take my Shimmer shampoo to to shampoo the bleach out and make sure that I get all of the product out of the hair, and also to tone down the brassiness, because even though I did use quick glue, it is a little bit on the brassy side, which it can help you a little bit because it'll make the lace a little bit tinted, and you don't have to tint it for some skin tones, but you don't want it to be orange. You want it to be more of like a brownish color, not that orangey brassy color. The hair is not shedding, which is what I do love. It's not shedding at all, which it can happen with curly hair, and when you're bleaching you do loosen a few hairs, but so far I haven't gotten much shedding. Like I said, I'm going to take my Shimmer Light shampoo. It's the shampoo that is affordable and it also works. So it's good for beginners, which is what this video is geared towards. It's for beginners on how you bleach and pluck your frontal or your wigs or your closures. This can work for all of those lace type of units and things. So I'm going to take my Shimmer Light shampoo and I'm actually going to let it soak for about 10 minutes. But not too long, because you don't want to tint your lace purple, which can also happen when you're using purple tinted shampoo. So once I'm done with all of that, I'm just going to take it. I'm going to rinse this out with cool to warm water. I don't really want to put too much heat on this hair, so I'm using cool water to rinse out the Shimmer Light shampoo. And once I'm satisfied with the way that that's looking, as you can see, the lace is no longer brassy, it's more of a cool tone. I'm going to take my Tresemme Moisture Rich Conditioner. I love this conditioner. It smells good. It keeps the hair healthy. It's what I use on all of my units. If I've actually bleached a unit, like the hairs on a unit, I actually take the silicone mix and I deep condition the hair in that. I'm just going to brush that through to make sure every hair is saturated with conditioner, so that, because this is curly hair, so you have to make sure that this hair stays moisturized or it's going to tangle and knot up on you. And we don't want that, especially not when you're giving it to a client. Like when it's you can deal with it, but for a client, you need this stuff to be perfect. So I'm deep conditioning the hair and also a little bit of the lace, because I want the lace to also, well, the roots on the lace to gain a little bit of moisture back after the bleaching process. I did get a little bit of shedding, but most of it came from the frontal, because again, when you bleach, you're going to weaken the knots on it along with lightening up the knots to where they're less visible. So you want to be very, very careful when you're bleaching. You don't want to over process the hair, because then the hair is going to be very brittle. So what I'm doing is adding more moisture back into it so that it becomes a little bit healthier. It's not living hair, so you do have to be more careful, because you can't restore any type of nutrients that the hair had. You can only put things on top of it. The only thing the hair can do is soak up a little bit of oils and moisturizers and things like that. So you want to make sure you use the best. This is affordable best. It's not like salon care best or anything like that. So here we are. We are now going to begin our plucking process. As you can see, you cannot see the knots, which is what I love. This unit did come with some baby hairs, but you can tell that it looks very baby dollish with the shape of it. So I'm going to show you how we're going to kind of keep that shape but make it look a bit more natural. So you're going to pin everything down. You see I have the lace flip technique going on so that the frontal lays flat without any humps and lumps again. So we're going to start over here on the left side of the unit, which is the side I always start on. I always want to start on my sides. I do my middles last. And I'm going to part this side and section off the front. So I'm clipping everything back and I'm going to section off the front, because you don't want to pluck directly onto the front of the hairline yet. I'm going to show you how we do that next. You're going to pluck behind it, because you don't want to have any bald spots. You also don't want to take away the actual length of the frontal. So when you pluck in the front, you're actually pulling the hairline back a little bit while you're thinning it to make it look more natural. So you don't want to do that right off the bat. You're going to pluck behind the hairline. Each time you part, you're going to pluck behind of the section that you parted on, if you get what I'm saying. I got these tweezers from Sally's. I thought they were so cute, like Black Girl Magic, like what's up? So I'm just going to begin plucking. So I know it looks like I'm plucking on the part that I made, but I'm really not. I'm plucking a little bit behind. I'm actually plucking into the thick section of hair that I have, and I'm just kind of randomly thinning it out. It looks like I'm creating a bald spot. I promise you I'm not. You're going to see the finished product, okay? Trust the process. So I'm plucking into that little section, the big section of hair that I have, and pulling out in that section. And I'm going to also go in, I'm going to part again. Now this is the part that I was telling you about. You're going to go in and you're going to randomly pull out pieces of hair so that you get rid of that sharp hairline. You're going to pull it. You're going to just skip a few hairs at a time and just pull. You're going to go down and pull. I hope you get what I'm saying, and I hope you're going to see the finished product, and it's going to make you understand a little bit better. But make a bigger, you just go back like half a centimeter, and you're going to pluck. You see I'm plucking into the section that I parted off, the front part, and then I'm going to go in and I'm going to pluck behind there as well, because you want it to thin out a little bit so that it gives you a nice gradient effect. So the farther back you go, the less that you pluck, but you're still going to pluck a little bit so that it's all going to be a gradient effect. You can see the difference here as I check. That is looking a little bit better. Everything is looking a little bit more natural. Alright, so this is kind of the finished product of this side. I'm actually mimicking a client's picture that she sent me because this is a client's unit, and I'm using it as kind of like a teaching method. So I'm going to go over to the other side, and you're going to see a little bit better on how everything is done. I'm kind of going to skip through it a little bit and get straight to the finished product so that you can see exactly what I mean. You want to make sure the hair is wet because that helps you see better on how everything is looking. You can see how this side looks, still a little baby dollish, and the other side looks more natural, more gradient. Everything is kind of fading. It looks like actual edges. So I'm just pulling out random pieces in the front, and I'm going to begin plucking right along the front of the hairline. Those random pieces that you see, they're not really going to be baby hairs. They're more going to be like what's going to hold the front of the hairline from getting too thin, if you get what I'm saying. So as you can see, I'm just skipping around the front, and I'm checking as I go. That's one thing you want to do if you're a beginner. Most people, they can just go as they want, but I'm plucking out random pieces on the front. As you can see, I'm going to go back over here, and I'm going to make sure that this looks the same. You see that whole stark hairline where everything looks just so perfect is actually gone. It's looking more like a gradient hairline on an actual human being and not a baby doll. So once you finish, that's when you go back through and you check and make sure that everything is good. The sideburns were too thick for me, so I am going back in and thinning those out a little bit. I'm thinning out the temple area because most people's temples do kind of come back a little bit, and my client's does in her picture that she sent. So like I said, I'm mimicking the hairline. If you're a beginner, what you want to do if you're plucking for yourself is you want to have a picture of your hairline, like a straight on hairline, and then the pictures of the sides up so that you can see what you're doing. So going in, checking everything, putting some finishing touches on it, and we'll be back when you see the finished product. I hope you like this video, by the way. Give it a thumbs up. Please subscribe. I like it when you guys subscribe. Alright, so here we're going to make the part look more natural. So I tend to pluck the parts. If they say they want a middle part, I do pluck the parts a little bit so that it doesn't look like, again, wiggish on a part, just straight back thick hair. You want that to also look a little bit gradient. And that's basically all I do. I just plug it kind of the same way that I plug the hairline, but in a less severe way. And this is the finished product. I hope y'all really like this video. Let me know if you want to see more tutorials. Of course, I have more hair tutorials coming up because I do make a lot of custom units. Please like and subscribe to this video. Please give it a thumbs up. Please click my bubble over here and also click a video. Let's continue to play with each other. I will see you guys soon. And yeah, look at all the hair I plucked out. Bye, y'all.